I went out last night. I really needed some fun. I find that everything has become very stark very quickly. It started with the blackouts, then there's the binman on strike, then that brought the rats in, and yesterday I went to the shop and it was completely bare. Rows and rows of empty shelves. It was like the war was back. I was shocked. Mrs. Aurora said everyone had rushed in that morning and bought out all the bread and milk and toilet paper. She said that everyone is panic buying because of the oil crisis. I said, why? The oil crisis isn't going to make their bowels more active. She kept back a new music edition and Morning Star for us, and she said if I went in on Tuesday she'd keep us back a loaf of bread and some milk. I don't know what the National Front are on about. I've never met an Indian I didn't like. I bought some new shoes yesterday. Daisy from work got a pair of those clogs with a high heel and no back, and one of them slipped off while she was walking down the stairs, and she fell down and broke her spine in 2 places, so now she was looking to sell them and I got them for a £5. When I say work, in this context, I mean the paid work I do as a nightclub cigarette girl. Not my true work of making audiovisual art. Oh, I was itching to wear them, so I said to Tristan, shall we go out? I wore my clogs with my pink dress. He wore all black with his snakeskin shoes and gold bomber jacket. Everyone looks at us when we go out together because we look divine. We are the envy of the pedestrian classes. Tris has not been well lately, so I took him out to dinner at the nicest restaurant with a dress code allowing us in. I had game with new potatoes and asparagus, even though I have that thing about new potatoes. Tristan can bloody eat when he wants to. He's rather strange where food is concerned. He can either live for a week off air or eat so much in one sitting that you feel sick to watch him. Last night he had a rare steak, a salad and a plate of oysters. He lectured the waiter for 5 minutes on the exact way he wanted the oysters cooked. How does Tristan know the first thing about oysters? We were brought up on dripping sandwiches. I've never seen him eat an oyster in my life. But it was great to see him enjoying himself. We had 2 bottles of wine between us, but we weren't drunk. The waiter gave Tristan the bill, but I insisted on paying even though Tristan fought me. The waiter said, "Oh, young love." I said, "This is my brother." He said, "Oh." When we left the restaurant, Tristan said, "Why did you have to pay?" I said, "No reason. I just wanted to buy you dinner." Afterwards, we went to see the new Hammer horror film, The Satanic Rites of Dracula. It's a Cushing-Lee film about Count Dracula coming to present-day London. It's pretty much as expected. We are very fond of Peter Cushing. Tristan worked with him on an episode of Sherlock Holmes a few years back, and he's always said he has never met a nicer, more refined and cultured man. Cushing spoke to him privately about a time when he was a young man, when he thought his career had entirely failed, and he was almost too depressed to get up in the morning. Tris was very moved. We sent Mr. Cushing a card when his wife died, and we always cheer when we see him on screen. The key to the ambience of Hammer films, Tris tells me, is that Cushing and Lee take their performances as seriously as they would playing Othello at the National, whereas most actors would merely go through the motions in a domestic horror. I am sure he fancies himself as the next great Hammer actor, after he's finished his stint as Doctor Who. At one bit, where there were several women getting out of coffins and getting into coffins and whatnot, Tris said, "There's a job for you, Joycey." I said, "What? Lady Vampire?" He said, "Hammer horror actress. You've got that nightie." Peter Cushing came on screen and we cheered. Someone a few rows back yelled, "Will you two shut up? We're trying to watch the film." Tris jumped up. He said, "Who said that?" And the man said, "I did. Sit down and shut up." So Tristan challenged him to a duel. He said, "Joycey, will you be my second?" I said yes. And Tris said, "Sir, name your second." And the man backed down, so the moral victory was Tristan's. After the film, we went dancing in a club. I don't remember much of that. I do remember looking at our reflections in the mirrored wall at how terrific we looked under the disco lights. I remember staring at my own eyes for ages and ages, while everything else seemed to move in slow motion. By the end of the night, the clogs were hurting my feet. Tris carried me home, on his back. This morning I left him sleeping to go to church, but when I got there, the usher told me that I could not come in dressed like this. He was a git, and I told him so. Imagine that you cannot go partying on a Saturday and go straight to church on Sunday. That's what being a Catholic is all about. I was so annoyed I came home and woke Tristan up to tell him. He said, "This is why I'm an atheist. It's all just arbitrary rules designed to suppress individual freedoms." I said, "I don't think you are an atheist. I think you are just lazy." "I am an atheist," he said. "Went to the Vatican and handed in my wafer." By the time I got home, the gas and electric had gone off again. We built a little campfire in the garden and cooked some bacon on it, but that brought us down to our last couple of matches. Tristan said that soon there will be no coal left in Britain, and then we will have to return to a pre-industrialised society. "What will that be like?" I said. He said, "Like Hobbiton." I would love that.